What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at an early access roguelike that just released that draws heavily from Hades and Super Smash Bros., weirdly enough, as a crossover. It is in its first early access patch. It came out, I think, 2 or 3 days ago, and it's called Spiritfall. I played a run or two, and I think the game is kind of interesting, so we're going to dive on in today and do some first impressions. How's that sound? If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, it is down below in the description where you can purchase it. On top of that, you can also take a look down there for a link to my Twitch stream and my Discord, just in case you wanted to hang out live, come support the channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and we'll do some Spiritfall, shall we? So here we are inside the central hub. Just like every other kind of roguelite, you've got a little bit of a central hub where you can talk to people, and the storyline is slowly doled out to you, run by run. I don't know how much of that is implemented right now. I didn't have a chance to go through their roadmap to figure out exactly what their development process is going to look like or what's going to be added to the game. This is very much a first impressions video that's just going to be tackling the game based on its own merits, but we only have one weapon unlocked right now. It's a big battle. It's like a battle axe, okay? It's like a hammer axe. Sometimes you smack them with the hammery end, sometimes you smack them with the edgy end. Combat in this game is very simple. Left attack is going to allow you to do light attacks, and right attacks in the direction that you hold are going to launch the enemy like so, as you can see. So sometimes what you can do is you can launch that up to right there, and then you can kind of catch them, especially if you got the timing down like so, and you can kind of do little juggle combos. You can also knock enemies into the walls, which deals extra damage, and the game does take advantage of that when it comes to the build system, as you'll find out momentarily. But let's see if we can't just pick up a new run, and we will go to battle with the minions of the dark. Out through the front door we go. If you're anything like me, the first time you saw this game, you're probably a little bit stunned by the fidelity of the animation. This is not something that we are frequently treated to as gamers outside the development cycle of like Supergiant Games, Clay, and then from there, like the larger AAA operations. I can say from the time that I've played the game so far that the game is utterly gorgeous. The animation style is super fluid and rests somewhere in between Genndy Tartakovsky and I don't even know, dude. Like, honestly, that's what I see in it, personally. I see a lot of Genndy Tartakovsky in here. From a lot of the old Cartoon Network shows like the Powerpuff Girls or from Samurai Jack. That's sort of what it reminds me of, in the way that, like, the feet move specifically right there when you run. Definitely kind of like a Powerpuff Girls thing going on. Now, the rooms are going to be... The development system in this game is not going to stray too far from the blueprint that's been laid out by Hades. In fact, the progression of this game is incredibly similar to Hades. And so it seems like the selling factor of the game that they're trying to hang their hat on is really the Super Smash Bros. Styled combat, because the roguelite portions of the game are basically copied straight from Hades. They're very, very similar. You've got a bunch of abilities in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. You will pick up blessings from various gods. Those gods all have different relationships with one another. Those gods tend to affect certain things like your auto attack, or your slams, or your bouncing people off the wall, or your Hadouken fireball. And then you're trying to stack as many bonuses onto those special abilities as you can, just like when you play Hades. So right here we've got a spirit blessing, and it looks like it has been given to us by Yemphus, which is a god that I haven't seen yet, but appears to be a god of water. All of the gods are animated very well. I don't know if it's planned that these gods are going to have dialogue later on in the development cycle of the early access that sort of introduce them to you the same way that Hades did, you know, when you meet Hermes for the first time, or when you meet Ares for the first time, or Zeus for the first time, or like every 5 to 10 times you interact with them, you get like a big dialogue or whatever. I don't know if that's planned, but we've been given the dousing dash. Your dash unleashes a watery explosion that damages nearby enemies and makes them drenched, so they are stunned for longer, and they take more damage from being smashed against a wall. We've got a dousing attack over here. Your attack deals more damage and puts drenched on enemies, so we get 35% more damage right there, and we inflict drenched. We've got lost at sea. Isolated enemies with no other enemies nearby receive more damage. This bonus is halved for boss enemies. I'll probably go with dousing dash for right now, and it does have a visual effect, as you can see right there. I've tried out ice abilities, I've tried out fire abilities, now we're trying out water abilities, and every single one of them has an effect, whether you put it on your melee attack, your slam, your fireball, your dash, or like your ultimate explosion. Doesn't really matter. adds an effect to all of them. Once you get to the actual map portion of the game and you've defeated the room that you started out with, you get to pick a path much in the same way you would expect from something like Hades, FTL, Slay the Spire, all of those kind of games later. I call these wireframe maps. I don't know if that's what everybody else calls them, but I call them wireframe maps. And the second I say that out loud, instantly in my head I can think of what I'm talking about. We get to pick the bonuses we want to get. Dust is money. We've also got the Vitality Crest, which will increase our health. There are some enemies further along into the game that tend to hit pretty hard, so I think I'd like to acquire a little bit more HP. Slam looks good right there. Let's kind of get him out of the way. I'm going to finish you two off. You can get slammed right now. And actually, if I had juggled a little bit better right there, I think we could have finished him off. Perfect. The enemies are animated really well, too. Like, most of the enemies in the game, when they have multiple health states, something happens. So for the basic beetle enemies that we just smashed out, they get knocked around, they roll, they're clearly a round enemy. They react the way you expect with a heavy weapon them to react to being hit, but with, like, the big armadillo, I'm calling him a armadillo because he's an armadillo and he wants to hurt me. With the armadillos, when they have two health states, they have armor, so you got to get through their armor bar first, but when you break their armor bar, no matter what attack you use, it launches them into the air, into a spin, and you can kind of do whatever you want to them so long as you don't let them hit the ground and go into kind of like their knockout animation. There's little details like that that add just a little bit of crunch and like a little bit of texture to the combat and make it a little bit more satisfying. I'm going to take that combat rune right there as a reward because that allows me to unlock new weapons, and to be really honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the Warhammer. In most games, I am a huge fan of Warhammers and Morning Stars and flails and things like that. This game, not quite as much, weirdly enough, and I don't know exactly why. I found myself very quickly wanting some kind of Dead Cells knife attack or sword attack that was much quicker. And once I thought about it, when I played Hades, I didn't really use the heavier weapons in Hades either. I almost universally used the very light, very fast weapons for my actual progression clears, because those were the ones that I was good with. We can get another Yamphis blessing, or we can get a Selesh blessing. Selesh is the god of fire, so I think we'll go for that, just diversify it a little bit. Oh, took a little bit of a smacking right there. Let's go ahead and take a little bit of distance here. See if we can get ourselves out of trouble. I'm taking a bit too much health damage. Okay, why are you guys not dying? I don't remember these little locusts having such a thick chin on them the last time I played. Like, I remember them dying in like a couple of hits. I'm going to assume that's a bug. There we go. I dislodged him. He got bugged out and stuck at the top of the screen for some reason. I don't know why it happened. Early access. And we'll go ahead and finish. Yeah, I don't know if this was like an elite room or what, but it felt like those enemies took a lot more damage than they normally do. I fought both those enemy types, and I felt like I wasn't hurting them. So with Selesh, we've got Scorching Bolt. Your bolt becomes a flamethrower that damages enemies and inflicts burn for 5 seconds. Closer enemies will generate more hits. When your essence multiplier is above 1.5, you deal area damage that inflicts burn every 2 seconds. Okay. Basically, your essence meter, it goes up as long as you don't get hit. So as you combo enemies and you don't get hit, it goes up kind of in perpetuity, but I think it goes down when you get hit or when you're not fighting enemies. After your air jump, you get cooldown speed. I'll take a flamethrower. That sounds good to me. That looked pretty good. Everything is just so magnificently animated in this game. Can I break that? Oh, what is that? Huh. Wonder if that ever matters. Like Binding of Isaac's secret room style. That'd be a nice little addition, like little outcrops of rock and whatnot you can break. Let's go for... Let's call it... We'll take another Yamphis blessing. These guys should be pretty easy to just put up against the wall here and combo back. Every enemy in this game does react to being hit, and you do get like a stagger. On most of them, I thought the little monies coming towards me were going to hurt me. I was watching... Damn. I was watching out of the corner of my eye. You know what? I think these guys, they took more damage the last time I played because I think I had a fire blessing or something that increased my damage by like 85% on my auto attack. This right here is a scroll of the gods. In between runs, you can offer this up at an altar, and it will unlock new modifiers to the rooms that you can go into. Not in like a negative way. Instead, everything I've unlocked with these scrolls is like health is more likely to drop. Sometimes there will be a mining location where you can get money on a map. Little things like that that sort of aid your advancement. But I want to unlock a new weapon. So I'm going to focus on unlocking weapons for right now. The Dowsing Launcher deals more damage. It puts 2 stacks of Drenched on them. You deal more damage when hitting enemies from below. You have bonus damage for each room cleared in the current region. It resets every region. 1% is not a real bonus. If they top that up to like 5%, I would consider it. But that's not worth it to me. I'll take the 10% damage from below. 1% just seems like completely and totally negligible, considering I deal 30 damage, you know what I mean? Like, okay. I'm gonna try and whack these guys right here, get rid of you. I'm just gonna kind of like focus. Almost got hit right there. Almost got hit right there too. Got rid of him though. Got rid of him. Now we just gotta get rid of this random little bug over here. There we go. Launch him into the ground using my dash. Oh, that's bad. I couldn't remember what he did. I know I've seen one before, but I did not commit his attack animation to memory. We've knocked off his armor layer, which is good and also helpful. There we go. Finish him off before he becomes too big of a liability. And down goes the rest of the room. We have a 2x multiplier. We got $100 right there, which will be nice the next time we see a store. Is there anything I can do in here? Not really. Not really. Let's go. So Celestial Exchange is a store. We can buy stuff there. Luminous Gem allows us to upgrade our blessing. I want to upgrade the blessing that's on my auto attack, I think. That feels potentially like one of the best things I could do with myself for right now. So I think that's what I'm going to focus on. I think enemies that have armor don't get staggered when you hit them too. So armor has kind of like a double layered bonus, making enemies a little bit more obnoxious to deal with. I want to get that fly that's up there, but there. Ooh, that combo was good. That was the spicy salsa chunky combo right there. I am absolutely amazed that I didn't get hit right there. I 100% thought that I was going to get smoked on that spot. Luminous Gem. Let's upgrade something. I am going to upgrade... Ooh, I didn't get what I wanted. I wanted to upgrade my auto attack. Let's take up the Dowsing Dash, because I feel like that scores a lot more hits than some of the other stuff in our repertoire. I'll take a Relic Chest. I guess I've never picked one of these up before, so let's go see what's inside of it. Yeah, maybe stay away from you. Maybe bait a few nerds up to here. Get a flamethrower off right there. Just let people tick down health a little bit. It seems to have worked. I think I can get him from right there, and damage from below is increased. I want the fly first. That's who I really want. He's the dangerous one. The rest of these guys are easy to deal with, but the fly is a concern. Let me get that chest dough. What's up with that chest dough? Oh, we've got to pick. I'm going to take a weapon rune real fast because I think it takes 3 of them to unlock a new weapon. So that basically allows me to accomplish my goal for this run. And then the Relic Chest, what does that do? The Arbiter's Mallet. Deal 4% bonus damage for every 100 dust you have on you. Oh, no. Okay, I'll take it. That's fine. We've got an extra 12% damage now. The downside is it behooves us heavily on this run to never spend money, and also to take every single dust room we possibly can from here on out, and every single dust bonus. So I want to get him right there. He's got a bonus that he can give you, like a passive ability that increases the amount of dust you get by, I think, like 5% or so, and it stacks, or it can be upgraded. So I definitely need to get that bonus too for this all to come to... Oh, I walked right into it. I didn't realize there was 2 of them sitting on each other right there because their little sprites were on top of one another, so I didn't see it. Go ahead and wipe you guys out. Flamethrower you. What else you got for me here? Did that guy just try to, like, ninja kick me? Dude, that grasshopper just tried to feed me the grass boppers, bro. Not okay with that situation. It's mildly offensive. Oh, okay. Fair. Walked right into it. Walked right into it again. You guys need to get jugglied, like, right now. Really, it's kind of like you're trying to use the juggle system, but there's such a long delay on the heavy juggles that you do when you're in midair that you've hit the ground by the time the attack goes off with all the layers and things half the time. Oh my god, our health is terrible. Your attack deals more damage and inflicts frost on enemies. 50% is way better than 35%. You deal bonus damage when you hit an undamaged enemy. I'm gonna take the flat bonus, man. I feel like I've been really disappointed with the douse bonus we've had going, so... Oh, 40 damage is so much better. Like, with a game like this, you can't underestimate the utility of just being able to drop an enemy really quickly with superior DPS output, especially on, like, a busy board that has, like, a lot of enemies running around. I'm dating myself now. I called it a board like it was a arcade game or a pinball game. But anyways, on each room, there is definitely something to be said for... Oh, we're going down, dude. I shouldn't have stayed in right there. I got greedy and I was talking to you. Let's see here. Collect that real fast. We've got Scorching Launcher. Your launcher deals more damage. It puts 2 stacks of burn on the enemy. Deal bonus damage at the start of combat in rooms, but it goes down by 5% every second. That's a little too fast to be helpful. Enemies are inflicted with stacks of burn every 5 seconds, or for 5 seconds when they enter into the room. That's not terrible. I'll probably go with the Scorching Launcher, though. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to buy health in this room. I don't want to, but... So there goes a 4% bonus. 4% ain't that much on 40 damage. I'm just going to buy the things that I want. You get an extra air jump, and when you air jump, you spread wings of fire that deal damage. That sounds raw as hell. I kind of want it. Oh yeah, dude, that's my stuff right there. Now I can stay vertical forever. I'm starting to get, like, my favorite builds in Risk of Rain 2 are the ones where I just fly and I never touch the ground because I've stacked up so many hoppo feathers and whatnot that I basically don't have to come down to the ground. We do have exposition right here. There are going to be little words spoken by the boss. I would be careful about how you choose to fight this lady. She can be a bit of a headache. What I like to do is I just cheese her by never going near her and using all my various explosive damages coming off of, like, my dashes and my hops and whatnot to, like, really light her up. And so we're going to break her armor right there, which should open her up to a pretty considerable combo. Not sure where I ate that 20 damage from. Apparently, I just ate 20 damage. Oh, she got her armor back up. Okay, dodge that. Now she's going to, I think, change phases. But yeah, I would focus on hitting and running with this lady. Oh, did I take damage right there? I think I got away with that. I didn't expect to get away with that, though. Give her a little bit of that right there. Break the armor. And let's start the juggling. Commence the juggling, y'all. I would prefer she not get another chance to put her armor back up. And there you go. We'll go ahead and skip that real fast so that we can stick to gameplay. But the animation in this game is utterly vivid, fluid, very good looking. And we've gotten ourselves an essence right there. To the next region. Is there anything I can harvest in here? I like games that don't tell you, but there's little secrets, like you can go up the stairs right there. Or if you rotate the map to the left or the right, there's like a little secret hidden area, you know what I mean? I love little things like that. That's like one of my favorite things in games, is things that incentivize you just kind of looking around. The Viridian Trail, wow, that's very beautiful and saturated. 50% health, I love 50% health. Oh, hello, giant crested woman, how are you? Apparently that's the Shrine Keeper, and I get to incinerate some essence here. What kind of enhancements look good? Your launcher fully charges instantly, but has a 2-second cooldown. Oh, so it gets rid of the windup? That's pretty solid. That's pretty spicy because, like, that was my one problem with the launcher is that it's got such a long windup that I can't use it in aerials very conveniently. And we've also got the concentrated launcher over here. Holding your launcher increases the power. Enemies are snappy enough that I don't know how often I would actually use that. You deal 20% more damage to elites. Your launcher does more damage. Your perfect launcher deals more damage. I want the instant launcher charge. I want the launcher damage. And I'll take the extra damage to elite enemies. And it looks like we get to stack up 7 of those per run from the slot at the bottom left. Let's call it a relic chest. We haven't filled up all of our relics yet. What do these enemies do? Hummingbirds, right? Okay, so these little humming turds need to get out of the air, dude. I do not support them in their aerial flights. And that looks to be some kind of thistle monkey. Thistle monkey, what are you doing? Thistle monkey's down. Is there another shrine in this room? There's not a shrine on the inside of this room. The parallax in the background looks like it's been synced up very well. Honestly, I'm just impressed. If you told me this was a Supergiant game or you told me this was a Clay game, like any of the major, I call them AAA indies, but basically those indie houses that tend to put out 10 out of 10 banger games, I would believe you, especially if you had told me that this was like a Clay game specifically. We've got the Dyad Blades. All damage you deal or take is 40% higher. It's kind of risky. It worries me, but you know what? I like to live life on the edge. Let's do it. I haven't met Kaluman yet, so I say we get zooming with Kaluman. Did that thing just get eaten by that plant at the top of the screen? Oh my god. Okay, so what I have learned here is do not go near that thing. Flamethrower! It looks like it only does it a couple times, though, before it runs out of charges. Oh, sweet, we got a bonus over here. I'll take a scroll. And then I will also take my bonus. Put it upon me. Gain a base chance to deal critical damage, and it's 3%. That's a cool animation right there. It's a really cool looking critter. Enemies that overlap one another get bonus damage from your attack, launcher, and bolt. Not bad. We do have a flamethrower. It's interesting that it takes into account the overlapping of the sprites. I don't know if I've ever seen a game that was like, oh yeah, when the sprites are overlapped, you get 20% damage. That's a kind of a very, very acute observation on the part of whoever implemented that their sprites tend to overlap, and thus, in order to make that a little less annoying, they added a bunch of perks that incentivize having the enemies overlapped. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a title before. I guess I'll take that one. I mean, the base critical chance, if I could upgrade it to like a 10 or 20% through just like a run-long focus, that'd be nice. But that right there requires no muss, no fuss, and it doesn't require me to change anything around or focus on anything. Oh, there's 2 upgrades in a row after that. Okay, well, I'm just dumb then. I could have taken the crit, and then I could have upgraded it twice, and it would probably be like 15% or something, and then I'd crit every single time, and the world would fear. Oh my god. Some kind of like mushroom fencer. Yeah, I like the mushroom ninja over here. The fungal samurai. Ow, hits hard too. Here, you just burn to death real fast. I do like that when the enemies die, their death animation changes the color of the sprite based on the element you used on them too. So like if you kill an enemy with flame, they get charred out and burned out. Are those explosive tomatoes? Okay. I don't know if I've ever been injured by a weaponized tomato inside a video game before. Freezing attack goes up to 65%. That's good. I'll take it. If I can survive this next room. We'll get an upgrade, and then we can heal. Good enemy variety, too. I think this is like the 4th or 5th unique enemy to this map tile that we've seen so far. Solid enemy variety. Oh my. Oh, there's that launcher. Good stuff. Really made him feel it. And it comes off cooldown fast enough that I don't think, like, the 2-second timer really Oh, I can knock the bombs back. Oh, he jumped up and intercepted me, dude. That was actually kind of clever. And I got blowed up by a tomato. I hit shift instead of jump right there, and I miscalculated. So the death animation, also very fluid. You'll find that this is a subtext to the entire game, is that it seems like they've focused on creating a game that has fluidity as its main focus. I want to check out a new weapon, though, real fast. So it looks like right now there's 3 weapons. I feel like the fists... Oh, you can also throw enchantments on here with those. Cool. Oh, you can get more enchantment slots, too. Very nice. Lots of cool ideas here. Let's go check out these fists real quick. I feel like these will be a little bit faster, and I tend to play better with faster weapons in games like this. It's definitely faster. It doesn't hit quite as hard. What does the launcher feel like? Launcher's okay, but it's easier to aerial combo for sure, just due to how snappy this is compared to the Warhammer. You don't have quite as long of a wind-up, and so it flows a little bit easier. Over here, I don't have enough scrolls to really do anything so far, but I guess we could do the closing talk. I don't think we really have enough time to do another run. This is Spiritfall. I think this is one to watch. I definitely think it's got a lot of positive attributes that look and feel great. As I mentioned earlier, it almost feels like you're playing inside of an old Genndy Tartakovsky cartoon. I think the ideas that are being utilized here are also interesting as well. So, like, I think when you appraise a game like this, you sort of split it into 2 categories. Like the combat, the gameplay itself, and then kind of the support scaffolding, or like the support structure of the roguelike mechanics that make you want to continue doing the combat. And on the combat end, I think this was actually a remarkably smart idea. Whoever it was that thought to themselves, you know, what if we took like floaty, high-flying, knocking enemies off the wall like pool balls from Super Smash Brothers and launching enemies at hyperspeed into a wall? What if we took that kind of conflict and we mixed it with a modifier system like Hades has, but on top of folding in the Hades mechanics, we also made sure that some of those bonuses make use of the various things that make Smash Brothers interesting, like bouncing someone off of a wall or juggling someone in midair. And I think there's something really appealing about that. I think that might have been a real stroke of creative genius, I guess. So Spiritfall seems to be lining up pretty well. The mechanics are good, the game feels fun if you enjoy Hades, but you want to play Hades in what is effectively a brawling, side-scrolling fighting game. I don't think you have to look any further than Spiritfall. I haven't noticed any balance issues. We only had that one bug while we were doing impressions here where the mob got stuck up against the ceiling and couldn't seem to dislodge himself. I think that the systems that they have borrowed from other games, like the Pokemon giving you your little blessings just like in Hades, or the enchantments and the relics coming from something like Warm Snow, I think they have borrowed from smart places that did things very well. That way they could sort of just be like, okay, so that's all good because everybody loves that stuff. We don't have to focus too hard on it. Let's focus on making the combat feel great, since that's going to be the first thing that any given player interacts with. And I think they've knocked that out of the park. And so really the only thing here that I can't advise you on is I don't really know how much content there's going to be inside this early access as of right now before you're going to get all the way through it. That would be something I'd probably recommend that you investigate just to make sure that you get your money's worth, unless you just really want to support the title. But from there, I think this is a game that can definitely hold its head up high. It impressed me with its smoothness, with its animation, with basically its fight arenas, with the sound effects, with the soundtrack. Everything here is very well done, so hopefully everybody else notices the game too. This is Spiritfall, and I am Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, I already told you, it's Spiritfall. I'll be back tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet, but up until then, it is time for me to go. Bye, folks.